Our next speaker is Dr. Ewen McLean, who is part of the F3 team, does a lot of writing for us. He's the principal of Cognoscenti, wow, that's a hard one, LLC, and it's been engaged in various aspects of aquaculture for over 35 years. He has actively participated on research review panels and contributed to various committees and commissions with an aquaculture focus in North America, the Caribbean, Europe, and the Middle East and Southeast Asia. Ewen.
I've been using Steve Cray's shoulders for a long time. And my task today was to provide an overview of what we've been doing in F3. I feel like a bit of a con artist because it's all the other people within the F3 group that's really put the work in there. It includes people like Rick and Mike Lusty and Talbot, Steve and so on. So I'd like to just acknowledge that it's really their work and not mine. But the overview that I was going to provide today is what fish we've been looking at and the results that we've been getting. But I thought before I'd start, I just came back from Cambodia. I was out there for 5 months, and this is their fish feed. And they're using about 20% of the catch from the Mekong as a raw material for feed. They don't have pelleted feeds in most of the farms there. There are over 5,000 ponds, and they're using this mash. And we shouldn't forget that it's not just about marine fish and marine fish oils, it's also about the freshwater. And right now we're worried in terms of the Mekong and the Tonle Sap aquifers, because about 30% of the biodiversity in fish is on the decline and really suffering from the potential disaster from extinction. So it's something that we should worry about. The thing that's quite obvious is that over the last couple of days, we've been hearing about all the different varieties of alternative proteins that are available in the pantry. And it's always nice to look at this big variety, but I'm kind of a fairly basic person. I worry about money because aquaculture is a business and people are on very tight margins. And so I'm always wondering how much these alternative proteins cost. Because again, it's all about money making the world go around. It's hard to get prices for insect meals and prices for single-cell protein meals and so on. But I thank a couple of other people that have provided this data for me. And the fish meal is the one in red. And the others that go beyond fish meal from $1,700 a ton right now up to $5,000 a ton for alternative proteins. So when we start looking at substituting fish meal, we have to be commonsensical. And there's clearly a need to balance the books, not only for the producer, but also the consumer. Because in the end, it's the consumer that actually is going to purchase things. So having said that, we've looked at a lot of different alternate proteins and diets. And one of the things I thought we wouldn't have very much in the way of pictures of is fish. So I thought I'd put up a few examples of fish that have been produced using fish-free diets. And the ones that are highlighted in red are ones that we've been working on in F3. And it shows the alternate proteins that replace the fish meal and fish oil as well. So largemouth bass, I mean, an American fish, 1 million tons almost produced in China. I think our production's 60,000 tons in the United States. But clearly, largemouth bass, and we've had a couple of trials in largemouth bass, able to survive, grow, look good, taste good, no fish meal. And I think we had a presentation yesterday about China and their production. Delbert's lab has done work on red drum, poultry byproduct meal, and soy protein concentrate and Mr. Feed as the alternatives. I think the economics were okay on that. Good growth, no problems at all. Steve and I did work on cobia back in, I guess, 2005, 2004, using yeasts and soy protein concentrate. So I'd just like to mention that people at Cortland Lab in New York were looking at things like algal mats and distillers' grains back in the 50s for trout, and had some success. So there's quite a history of looking at alternate proteins for salmonids, but cobia is good. Yellowtail, pompano, again, work out of Delbert's lab and out of California, poultry byproduct meal again. Seems that the animal protein component provides a nutrient which is important to make sure that mortality is kept at a low. But again, catfish, cod, humpback grouper, and then other species included that I haven't got up here are tongue sole, sturgeon. So all these species potentially, no question about it, as long as we're clever with the ingredients we select, we can remove fish meal and fish oil. I don't think there's any question about that. It just needs a little bit of application and science, hard science. Now, Skretting has their microbalance diets, and they're totally fish meal free and fish oil free. I haven't seen any data, and I think there's somebody from Skretting here. I don't know if there's somebody from Skretting. It would be nice to hear of what they have, but they have a commercial product for Atlantic salmon. And we've done Atlantic salmon work down in Chile, again using poultry byproduct meal, and that was discussed relative to the new competition. And rainbow trout. Rainbow trout is probably, as was said just now, one of the number one fish. And if you look at the literature, there's over 120 publications using fish meal, fish oil, and animal protein-free diets with success in growing rainbow trout. And I've got 38 seconds, so I'm going to go to Star Milling Company. Somebody over there from Star Milling. You had the hot dogs from the McFarland Springs trout. This is a good example in the US of fish meal free, fish oil free production of trout. You can get them shipped, or you can buy them locally in California, Northern California. But more interesting than that, I think, is Orcan. And Orcan is a French supermarket. They have 52 outlets where they're selling rainbow trout fed exclusively on fish meal and fish oil free diets using insect meal. And they've been doing this for 3-4 years now. I don't know the price. But I do know that the public buy. And they buy because I guess the price is reasonable. So there is good examples of using alternative oils, using alternative proteins, and doing it successfully and selling into the marketplace without any problems. So the future is bright, no question, but money. It's all about money in the end. Cost of your raw materials, cost of the end product. And clearly this slide demonstrates the more you have certifications, the better it looks from a consumer point of view. So Natureland and HACCP and so on. So the consumer is safe and secure in the knowledge that the animal or the product they're buying is good. We've also worked on shrimp. We had shrimp studies back in 2004 in Texas, where we used a yeast-based protein successfully, and we've undertaken work in Vietnam at a kind of a production level in ponds successfully, and again using the poultry byproduct, soybean and Mr. Feed. So we've had a lot of experience over the last 4 or 5 years, a number of species, all successful, and I think that just indicates that the potential for ridding ourselves of this addiction that aquaculture has with fish meal and fish oil can be rid of for the future. Thank you.